All right, good morning, everyone. We are very, very excited this morning to be cutting the ribbon on a beautiful new facility here for Harrisburg, this gorgeous pavilion, which is going to allow us to do so much more here in Italian Lake. It's been an exciting year for Harrisburg and our park system. Many of you may know this already, but we have completely renovated 4 of our neighborhood playgrounds. New equipment, new stormwater management, new landscaping. They're absolutely gorgeous. And we have a 5th playground, which is currently underway and will be completed next year. Those improvements are taking place in every corridor of the city. And at the same time we're working on our playgrounds, we have been investing in some of our larger parks. Up in Reservoir Park, there's a terrific story which is underway, which is that we've been slowly but surely bringing back to life the greenhouse. Did all of you know that the city of Harrisburg owns a greenhouse? Well, we do, but it's been neglected and dilapidated now for decades. And just in the past several months, a group of volunteers, much like the group of volunteers we have standing behind us now, have really come together and begun to breathe new life into that building. The Glazers Union, for instance, came, donated their time and energies, and replaced all the broken glass in the greenhouse. And there is a fundraising campaign and effort underway to secure the necessary financing to not only bring the greenhouse back, but also turn it into something of an educational center for Harrisburg and partnership with the Harrisburg School District. That's happening. At the same time, I'm pleased to announce that we will be soon getting underway here, I think in another month, with the complete redo of the Riverwalk along Riverfront Park. You'll begin to see some new concrete construction under the railroad bridge, joining the section in Shipoke, which has already previously been redone. And then, over the course of next year, due to be completed by the end of summer next year, the entire lower Riverwalk above the steps from its genesis in Shipoke all the way up to McGlay Street is going to be redone. That's due to about $1.5 million grant from the Commonwealth, and that's going to be underway here very soon. And then here in Italian Lake, we have brought this pavilion to fruition, and what is exciting about it is that it really represents the best of public-private partnerships. You have in this neighborhood a very, very active neighborhood group called the Friends of Italian Lake. They are wonderful stewards and custodians of the lake. You have other groups, committees, organizations that are interested in helping the Harrisburg Park system that have gone out and raised money. You have a leading bank, an FNB bank, which put forth the largest sum of money to get this done and was committed to helping Harrisburg. And you have the Harrisburg Parks Partnership, which continues to help us with project after project in the city, all coming together and coalescing around this beautiful, beautiful pavilion. None of that would be possible without our own Parks and Recreation team here at the city. And I want to give each and every one of these major entities an opportunity to speak this morning, and then we can answer your questions. I want to start, though, with First National Bank. And there are a number of people that need to be thanked. We've got Rick Steiner, Tony Sacco, Rosemary Schleg, Jenny Confini, and we are joined this morning by Greg Conrad. Most importantly about FNB Bank, they've got a lot going on. Recently they announced a new 10-year naming rights deal for the stadium on City Island. That's very important because the city shares in the proceeds of those naming rights, and that is helping to close the gap between what is owed on the stadium bonds over the next decade and the money that comes in through rent and parking and other means. I didn't mention, but in collaboration with the senators, the city has some big plans for the entryway there at Reservoir Park and some other, at City Island and some other improvements that will hopefully be announced and be ready for opening day in the spring. FNB, I know, also has some exciting plans for its downtown headquarters on 2nd Street in Harrisburg, and we are excited to be in the development stage and supporting them. From FNB, we have Senior Vice President and Regional Banking Executive Greg Conrad, and we'll start with you, Greg.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning and welcome. We're thankful to partner with the City of Harrisburg, the Harrisburg Parks Foundation, and other organizations who are as determined as we are as First National Bank to improve the quality of life here and throughout the entire region. Italian Lake offers a wonderful setting to enjoy live music and special events right here in the heart of downtown Harrisburg. And FNB is just as excited to contribute to this new entertainment experience. We seek to enhance the lives of everyone in our communities through employee volunteerism, sponsorships, and financial support. On behalf of First National Bank, we thank you for the opportunity to partner with you on such a fun and meaningful project, and we look forward to future events here at the new Italian Park Pavilion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Project wouldn't have been possible without FNB. They put the largest share of the donation up, $25,000, to do this pavilion here today, and we are just thrilled that they've taken such an interest in the city. Thank you. Now that donation, as well as I think the impetus for getting this done, actually came from another individual, Mr. Mike Treffen, who we will introduce next. Mike is the type of person that when he sets his mind to something, you can't say no, and he will push and push and push until it's done. It's a terrific characteristic, and we've been able to accomplish a lot. If you like this pavilion, you also may know that we got the fountains recently working at Reservoir Park. Another effort by Mike Treffen, pushing and pushing and pushing to make sure that everyone came together and worked together to get things done. So. He has a committee of individuals, some of which wish to remain anonymous, others of which are very active in the community, and they have been putting money up for project after project, and I want to introduce you all now to Mr. Mike Treffen.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here, but it's an honor to be part of what the city has done over the last 7 years and for the last 3 administrations. Our committee is made up of business people that want to preserve and protect what our forefathers left us, because we know the city doesn't really have the funds to do everything they'd like to do. So that's our job, and we're very happy to be part of all of this. Thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. And Mike has already informed me that he has another project to discuss right after this meeting. So I can't wait to hear what that is. Next, we want to talk a little bit about the Harrisburg Parks Foundation, which has been an incredible partner with the city. They put in, I believe, $5,000 specifically into this project, but also Jeb Stewart, who I will introduce in a moment, act as really the coordinator, the liaison between all the different groups, trying to, as well as the pass-through organization for the donations, so that we could get this pavilion done. Jeb is well known as our local historian and has some incredible photos with him of the Italian Lake when it was first laid out, what the swamp looked like before, what it looked like before all these houses were built. So come up afterwards and take a look at his photos. May I introduce to you Mr. Jeb Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to echo what's been said about First National Bank. We're very appreciative of the major contribution they made to, of course, make this pavilion happen. It wouldn't have happened without the bank. And Mike Treffen, of course, has been the catalyst, the leader in so many projects in the city, and this one in particular was able to get other contributors together to put some funds into the project. And of course, as the mayor just noted, the Parks Foundation was able to contribute $5,000 to the project. And the foundation also acted as the fiscal agent through the Foundation for Enhancing Communities, which is our relationship, so that we can receive funds and disperse as necessary. So we were very thankful for that. And this is just a tremendous improvement to the value of Italian Lake. We'll be able to make more events happen here now that we have an enclosure on top for outdoor events and activities, and just another dimension to this wonderful, wonderful lake and park, which is clearly a gem here in Harrisburg and in the metropolitan area. So thank you very much, Mayor. And I do want to mention 2 folks that are members of the Parks Foundation who are with us today, Peggy Grove, of course, and also Mark Santana, who's sitting back beyond. So thank you again.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. I'm going to take a moment and introduce Peggy Grove and let her speak for a moment about the Friends of Italian Lake. Now, that is an organization which acts as sort of custodians and caregivers of the whole park. And it's important when you're building a new structure, you're investing, you want members of the neighborhood to have the buy-in to care for these projects long term. And we're not done yet. I know that Friends of Italian Lake is actively fundraising at the moment. It's an organization which perhaps some watching this at home may wish to join and become a part of. But as the next phase, we'd like to, among other things, improve the concrete floor. I know the city has plans to upgrade some of the seating as well as to improve the restroom facilities. So this is just the beginning of what will be a larger process of transformation for the park, but it couldn't be done without an active, energized neighborhood group, and that's the Friends of Italian Lake. Wendell Hoover, who's very active in that, could not be here today. I want to acknowledge him, but to say a few words, here is Peggy Grove.
I not only serve on the Friends of Italian Lake, I'm also part of Mike Treffen's committee, and I'm also on the Parks. I was on the Parks Partnership, and now it is a foundation for raising money for the parks in the city of Harrisburg. I am so glad that this pavilion has been built. I've seen so many disappointed people, especially this year with all the rain we had, so many canceled concerts, because there was no way that the musicians or dancers or singers could have performed in the rain. So now that will be possible, and I will tell you, this whole lake gets surrounded by people with lawn chairs and umbrellas, etc. People come to have like a supper, etc. And it becomes a neighborhood event for many of the houses along here. They invite all their friends and they sit out on their lawns. Wendell Hoover and I do a lot of things together. We're both Rotarians, and I have been bringing the swans to the lake for the last few years. And if you haven't had an opportunity to see them, they're black swans and white swans, and sometimes there are black and white swans. So there's integration occurring in the neighborhood of Italian Lake through the swans. And I help to teach the children through those swans and how to, things that they shouldn't be feeding them, etc., and not to chase them or throw rocks or etc. Anyway, the Friends of Italian Lake are comprised mostly of those around the lake, but it was just brought to my mind today from some neighbors that live on 2nd Street that we need to expand it because they are certainly within walking distance and they may have the means to help us. We need about $5,000 left to help with fans that need to be put in here in the summer days. In the back part of this pavilion may be too hot, and to have aerating fans would be very helpful. Something like the attic fans in some of these older houses that we used to use before air conditioning. As well as the floor needs to be refurbished, as the mayor had mentioned, and we're hoping to improve the sound system so that the music can be heard not just from this wonderful new pavilion that is shaped in such a way that we can hear better. The acoustics are much better, but also to make sure that all those people, a lot of elderly people come and they can't hear, but they love to watch the program, so we want to make sure that they can hear. Thank you so much for coming today, and if you would be interested in helping us with this, please let me know afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy. Well, as you can see, the city is fortunate to have an incredible group of partners ensuring the success of our parks. But an important part of any public-private partnership is also the public side. And we are fortunate at Harrisburg to have a very, very dedicated team of individuals working every day on our park system. And that is headed up by our Parks and Recreation Director, Mr. Kevin Sanders. Kevin works hard every day. You'll see him meeting with contractors to supervise the planting of new trees and shrubs. You'll see him supervising our rangers or going out on ranger patrol himself. You will note that in the background, he was the one coordinating all of these groups on behalf of the city and ultimately ensuring that this project got done. With so much going in our parks, it's important to have a leader at the city who really gets it and is committed to working to see these projects to fruition. Couldn't have done it without you, Kevin. Please come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be brief. The pavilion behind us is our 8th pavilion in 2 years in the city of Harrisburg. This is our 2nd pavilion with the park partnership / park foundation. Also helped us at 4th and Emerald. And as the mayor had noted, in Reservoir Park, Mike helped get the fountains functioning, which hadn't functioned since around 2011. So I'm personally grateful from the bottom of my heart for all the work and the time allotted to get these projects moving. So for us in Parks and Recreation, we're fully aware that our park rentals are going to increase with this pavilion. It's a beautiful venue. I don't have a whole lot more to say. I just want to say thank you to everybody who helped out.
Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for your committed dedication to our parks. And that is an incredible stat, all of the pavilions, each of the 5 new renovated parks and playgrounds, 4th and Emerald, this pavilion here. Slowly but surely, we are remaking every park and playground in the city. Now, we've already had at least one wedding here at the Pavilion. Can you think of a nicer place to get married in Harrisburg? I can't. I've seen people taking photos on the bridge and saying their vows here. I invite everyone to come back for the Bethesda Mission Christmas celebration, which they'll be having here. That, I would like to say, is the weekend after this weekend. I think that's correct. But there'll be a Christmas tree here. It'll be all decked out for the holidays. I understand that Recycle Bicycle will be leading a parade of Santa and others around the lake. It should be a fun time for everyone, so come back and check out this facility. We are next going to cut the ribbon. So here we go. 5,